All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another video. This is your man Pristine. Welcome to the Pristine review for the Asus Zenfone 5. Now, I'm not going to take too much of your time here. Let's dive right in. Now, first off, I'd like to talk about the price and the specs. Now, the price, the price was $398.95 or something like that. I got it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. All together with taxes, it was like $417.82, which is a really good value for what you're getting with this phone because this phone offers a lot. Now, the specs, you're getting a Snapdragon 636 processor, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of onboard storage that can be expanded up to 400 gigs that Asus is claiming. And so you got a little bit of a powerhouse here. This phone is definitely no slouch by any stretch of the imagination. It is super quick. It definitely loads applications and things. RAM management is all good. You're not going to have any problems gaming or anything like that on this particular device. So you've got some pretty nice high-end specs, also for that premium, that not so premium price range. You know what I mean? Now, build quality. The build quality is absolutely stunning. We've got Corning Gorilla Glass 3, which is what I've been told on the front and the back. And this is just a beautiful piece of hardware here. Definitely you want to protect your investment with a case and a screen protector, which the case does come in the box. So shout out to Asus for that. But look at this. This panel is absolutely gorgeous. 1080p display here. And it tops out at 550 nits, and so viewing angles are not going to be a problem at all whatsoever. We do have the notch there. There's some controversy behind that. Some people love it, some people hate it, but you can change it in the settings. You can get rid of it if it's something that you don't desire. It's not something that you have to stick with. Me personally, I'm a fan of it. I think that it makes the phone looks a bit unique, and a lot of these phones, they all look the same. You know what I'm saying? So give us a little bit of a something different. I understand iPhone. The iPhone 10 was the first phone that came out that some would say originated the whole notch idea. Which that's not true. The Essential phone was actually, if you want to, get technical with it, the first phone to release with the little notch. The notch wasn't as wide and as open as the notch that is here and the one that's on the iPhone 10. But nonetheless, the Essential phone was the first phone that was released with the notch at the top. So let's keep it 100. So the build quality, I gotta say, the build quality is good. It would have been nice, if it had wireless charge, considering the fact that it does have glass on the front and the back. The reasons as to why that's not present, hey, it's beyond me. Now, performance, as I mentioned, we've got a Snapdragon 636 processor, 4 gigs of RAM, and things run nice and smooth as they ought to. Now, there were some connection issues, with this particular device because this is the international version. This phone has not been released here in the U.S. And so under T-Mobile, I got full 4G LTE with full signal strength. I was able to browse the web, place phone calls, get all my text messages and notifications, or get all my text messages and things of that nature. But for whatever reason, I could not receive phone calls. Couldn't receive phone calls. And so, after talking to Asus a few times, everything checked out. All the APN settings and everything were what they ought to have been. Now, when I talked to T-Mobile, T-Mobile said the reason for it is because they are now operating on this 600 megahertz spectrum now. And that was something that they changed not too long ago, and it causes a lot of major interference with unlocked and especially international devices. And so this is the explanation that T-Mobile had given me. And so after further researching it, I found out online that most people that have this device seem to have no problems on AT&T's network. And so what did I do? I went and found myself. I went to one of my partners that I know has AT&T, slapped his SIM card in it, and it picked up full 4G LTE, got all bars, full signal strength. I was able to place calls, browse the web, all that. And so I went to AT&T, got a cheap little prepaid plan just to get the AT&T SIM card, popped it in, and unfortunately I'm only able to, if you guys see here, that little H, which it's HPSA or something like that. But basically what it is, it's 3.5G. You know, so it's higher than from what AT&T is describing to me. It's higher than 3G, but it's a lesser tier than 4G. But nonetheless, I mean, loading up apps and things are still, you know, pretty quick. Not as quick as they would be if we were operating off a full 4G LTE. But as you guys can see here, let's see, let's go to my Spotify. Things are still loading up at a decent speed. I mean, you know, Spotify, this is what Spotify does usually, even on a 4G LTE connection. I mean, it's such a big file. I've got so much music in it. I mean, that always takes a little bit of a second, you know, to open up. Now, let's go to my SoundCloud here. And you can see there, didn't take as long as Spotify there. Let's see, let's go to my YouTube studio. Okay, and you see that just pops right open. Yeah, let's go to YouTube. Okay, and you see that pops right open. What's the Mary J. Will, Asus Zenfone 5, the $400 flagship. Okay, I'm gonna check you out, Jay. I'm gonna check you out, Jay. But yeah, so I mean, you guys get the idea. I mean, so you know, I would say, you know, if you're gonna invest in this particular device, just make sure that you're able to get, you know, some type of, you know, check the bands. You know, make sure that you've got some compatible bands, you know, so that, you know, you can rock this device. I mean, because it's not gonna work everywhere. You know what I mean? Now, again, just with the AT&T SIM in, you know, I've been able to function this thing off of the 3.5G. I've been able to receive phone calls, place phone calls, you know, get my text messages. But another one of the major drawbacks for me is I'm unable to get all of my notifications. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I get a lot of notifications. Because of my busy schedule, I have so many different apps sending me notifications, and that's what helps keep me in the loop. A lot of the information that I get on a lot of these new devices and things, a lot of times I don't have time to sit home in front of my computer and just scour the web. You know what I mean? So I get a lot of different notifications from a bunch of different sources that provide me with information. I have my notifications set up for my studio or YouTube, Google Plus. You know, a lot of you guys that are trying to get in contact with me and sending me messages about these videos that you see that I put up. You know, this is my way of communicating with you guys. You know, if a game is on that I want to follow, but I just can't because I'm working or I'm tied up with the family, you know, I get scores and different news and notifications about players or teams and things that I'm following. You guys get the hint. You know, I get notifications all the time, and those things really keep me in the know with a lot of different things. This particular phone, I have no idea what's going on, but it will not give me my notifications at all whatsoever. And to me, as often as I use these things to get notified and stay current on a lot of the news and stuff that are going on in the tech world, if I'm not able to get my notifications on the device, then to me, the device is utterly useless. You know what I mean? That's how serious it is for me. Now, for you guys, it may not be that big of a deal, but for me, the fact that I haven't been able to get my notifications, and this is after twice I'm being on the phone with Asus customer care. I've factory data reset the phone twice, had to go through the whole headache of setting the phone back up and everything. I was also having a problem with downloading applications from the Play Store. A lot of times, like, you know, if you get apps that need updates, you'll get a notification from the Play Store saying, hey, you know, you got some apps that need to be updated, and you can choose to, you know, manually update those applications manually one by one, or you can hit update all, and it would just go down the list automatically and upload, you know, or update all those applications. Well, unfortunately for me, with my particular device, I would get the notification from the Play Store indicating updates for apps. And let's just say I'll open up the Play Store and I have like 10 apps that would need to be updated. Well, I would hit update all, like right here. So just to kind of give an example, you know, Facebook, Google Slides, my Keepsafe Photo Vault, and Uber, those need to be updated right now. Now, when I would hit update all, which is typically what I do, I just hit update all, set the phone down, you know, go do what I'm doing, you know, come back 45 minutes to an hour later, and it's still trying to download the first app. Normally, these apps update extremely fast. whether it be on my 4G LTE connection or on my Wi-Fi. And so I noticed that, for a short time there, I wasn't able to update my apps because for whatever reason, they just would not update. And so after a factory data reset, then, that seemed to have taken care of that problem, and the app seemed to be updating a lot faster now. Or much faster than they were. And so, that was also another, big problem for me, in the performance category. I mean, so as far as, how the phone performs, as far as like, scrolling through apps, browsing the web, opening up apps and stuff like that, no problem. No problem at all whatsoever, but it was just some of the other things, updating my applications that needed to be updated, receiving my notifications, which I'm still not getting, which is a downer for me. I'm not keeping this phone because of that. But I just want to, inform you guys of this so that you'll know that this is something that you may possibly run into if you decide to cop this device. Now, I'm not sure if that's something that can be fixed with updates. But, ladies and gentlemen, how I operate this business, I'm doing this all on my own dime. You know what I mean? I'm not getting any sponsorship from anybody, and I can't afford to waste money on a device that I'm not getting full functionality out of. And so if it's not giving me everything that I need from the phone, then it's out of here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so that's really where I stand with this particular device. But I mean, aside from that, everything else seems to be buttery smooth. But the fact that I don't receive my notifications, that's a deal breaker for me. Now, battery life. We got a 3,300 milliamp hour battery. I haven't had a problem with the battery at all whatsoever. A screen on time, I've got about 5.5 to 6 hours of screen on time. But again, it varies, depending on your usage. So I don't really go too much into that, screen on time and all that. That's just what I was able to, pull down, on a single charge. Your experience may be different. I'm a light, very moderate user, you know what I mean? And that's what I was able to pull down. And so definitely the way I use devices, this isn't one of those devices that I feel I'm going to have to charge on a nightly basis. I'll say every day and a half, maybe 2 days, depending on usage, you'll be able to get through on one single charge. And it does support quick charge. And so my experience from 0 to 100 was about an hour and 20 minutes, which isn't bad. I mean, but there are phones that are out there that charge, much faster. It's not the fastest fast charging, but nonetheless, it does charge pretty fast from 0 to 100. All right. Now, additional features, man, this phone is chock full of all kinds of different features. And, I'm a big fan of the Zen UI because of that. Now, the phone didn't come with a lot of bloatware like a lot of Asus devices typically do, which, I'm a big fan of that. We are running Android Oreo 8.1 fresh out of the box with that Zen UI 8.0 over it. Or the Zen UI over the 8.1 Oreo. And you got a lot of different features and functions. Double tap to lock the screen, which is one of my favorites. Double tap to wake. We do have a fingerprint sensor here that is lightning quick, and so double tap to close the screen, and you'll see I'll just barely tap that button and it just opens right up. We do have facial recognition, which is also pretty fast, and I am a fan of the facial recognition on this particular device because it is not one of those things where you have to do steps to get it to open up. You know what I mean? You can set it to where you can just lift up the phone to check it, and when you do that, it recognizes that it's upright and it cinches your face and it just opens right up. And so, okay, the double tap seems to be working fine any other time. Now I'm in front of the camera and it doesn't want to work. But yeah, I'll display that again for you guys. And it just opens right up with no problem. And that was the reality for me 100% of the time. You know what I mean? So, the security features, being able to unlock the device with either your finger or your facial recognition, both of them work 100% of the time. No problems or issues with those whatsoever. Now, we do also have a headphone jack, which this has the Dts X sound. Now, compared to the 32-bit quad DAC that are in some of the LG devices, I'm not exactly sure where this stacks up in comparison, but I know that headphones in this 3.5 millimeter jack sound amazing. DTS X Sound, man, for all of you people that still like to plug in, you're in for a real treat when you plug into this 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Now, another thing too is I like the fact that we have dual stereo speakers. It would have been nice if they were front facing, but we have the stereo speaker here in the receiver, which provides a lot of the clarity and the treble, you know, and then we have a lot of the deeper tones and the bass coming from the bottom firing speaker here. But nonetheless, sound is really good. This phone gets extremely loud. It gets extremely loud, very loud. Now, another thing that I like about this device, even though I don't really think that it's a needed feature, but I like the fact that they placed it on there just in case you feel you do need it, is the AI boost, the performance boost. And so if you click on AI boost right there, then basically what that's going to do is it's going to enhance the performance of the device. Things are going to be a tad bit snappier, but you know, I like the fact that they implemented that for those people that feel as though they need that. But for me, in my personal experience, I mean, the way this phone just flies through pretty much everything, I mean, I never needed to use it. I mean, again, I could hand this phone to somebody and be like, hey man, this phone has the Snapdragon 845 processor. It's got 6 to 8 gigs of RAM in it. You know what I mean? And they would navigate through this phone and they would believe me, because that's how snappy and lightning quick that this phone performs. I mean, so, you know, I like the fact that it, you know, performs, you know, as buttery smooth and snappy as it does when everything is functioning properly. But again, just some of those things that are necessities to me that I look for in every smartphone that I get my hands on, those things aren't present. You know what I mean? Which is a downer for me. But again, we've got, if we go into settings here, and just go into advanced, and as you can see, I mean, we've got assistive tools, page marker, twin apps, game genie, Zenmoji, Zen UI safeguard, OptiFlex. We've got special mode, kids mode, easy mode, lift to check phone, screenshot. You can double tap the back button right there, or the recents key. I have it set, so you can actually set each and every one of these capacitive keys to perform an action. And so I've got my recents key set to double tap on that to take a screenshot. You've got instant camera, double click the volume key, you know, to launch the camera. We've seen that on several devices, so that's not really anything new. We do have the fingerprint gesture where you slide down on the fingerprint to bring down the notification shade and check any kind of notifications that you may have. Zen Motion. Now this is where you go in to check on, double tap the screen to turn it on or off, swipe up to wake up the device, flip down to mute the phone if it's ringing, you know, hands up, lift the device to your ear to answer the call if you don't want to touch anything. You also have fingerprint answering, so where, you know, when the phone is ringing, then you can, you know, scan your fingerprint to answer the call, and the phone will not answer unless your fingerprint has been scanned. And then we also have the gestures where you can draw letters on the screen to open up different applications and perform different functions as well. I mean, so, you know, you've got tons of different things to choose from on this particular device. And I just want to show you guys, we do have there's been a few updates that I've gotten, like 4 or 5 of them. We do have the ability to hide the notch now, so you can see there the notch is hidden. But again, I like the way the notch looks, and so I prefer to rock with the notch. You know what I mean? We can change the configuration on the navigation bar. I mean, when you take it out of the box, it's the typical Android setup where the keys are flipped around, but I like to have it this way because although I'm a lefty, I navigate my device with my right hand, and so I like my right thumb to be right there where the back, home, or recents key is. You can hide the navigation bar, so there's that little arrow right there. You tap that, and the navigation bar is gone, which you can take full advantage of that 19:9 aspect ratio. And then if you want the capacitive keys back, then you just slide up, and there they are. So this phone, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it's chock full of features that you can tweak and customize and just really get that experience that you want and you need. Now, my overall final thoughts: is this device a good device? Yes, in my personal opinion. You know, I feel like I can recommend this device, especially considering the price. I mean, the build quality, the internal specs, the way that it performs, as snappy as it is. You know, Maybe with some updates, the camera performance will get a little bit better. So, once some of those things get cleaned up, then yeah, I mean, I could recommend this device. I would say if you want to get your hands on this device, do so with caution and be mindful of the fact that there may be some bugs and things that you're going to have to experience. And you may just have to weather the storm a little bit in order for this device, through updates, to be what you want it to be. Or, it may be just a buttery smooth experience out of the box. I mean, just because this is what I've experienced with this particular unit, it's not to say that everybody's experiencing what I've experienced. I mean, so different people are going to have different experiences with different devices, and I'm fully aware of that. Okay, so just be mindful of the fact that you may run into some of these issues that I ran into if you decide to cop this device. But nonetheless, is it a beautiful device? Absolutely. And with everything, when everything is working and functioning and clicking on all cylinders, this is an excellent device, especially given the price point. You can consider this device to be a flagship killer. So if you want to get your hands on this device, or if you have it, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are of it. If you have it, if you want to get it, you know what I mean? Give me some reasons as to why you want to get it, you know what I mean? And let's talk about it. I can go a little bit deeper into, my experiences with it, just to shed some light on some things, just to give you guys some more insight on things that may be potential roadblocks with this particular device. But nonetheless, for those of you that have this device that aren't experiencing some of the stuff that I've experienced, I'm sure that you're having a wonderful experience with this device, because I think overall it's a good device. It just needs some things that need to be cleaned up. All right. So that's all I got. Thank you guys for tuning in for the full Pristine review for the Asus Zenfone 5. If you like this video, you already know, smash that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to expose yourself to tons more videos that I've done like this one. And definitely stay tuned, because I've got tons of more content on some of the latest smartphones to come. So keep it locked here at Pristine Mobile Tech. Make sure you hit that notifications bell. Every time I upload something, you can be the first to check out the content, be the first to comment, leave me some feedback, constructive criticism, whatever. If you don't like the video, voice your opinions on what you liked and what you didn't like. Or if I missed something that you wanted me to touch on, we can talk about that too. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. All right, so until the next one, stay safe, definitely get spiritually fit, because we're definitely living in the last days. And keep it pristine in every aspect of your lives. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm out.